What a horrible, despicable daily. I've never had the displeasure to experience something as abhorrent as this, and I'm not really sure why we deserve this, because I feel like we're paying customers. We've been here, we've supported admin since the very start, and we really don't deserve to be treated this way, man. I feel like it's so unfair because it's always either Maggie or it's always Blue Baby, and it's always, I feel like this has like some racist connotations associated with it. I don't really like it, you know. I'm all for equality, and to see some of our characters treated this way, I think is just unacceptable, and I'm not really sure how we should approach this. I don't think we should try it, maybe that's a bit extreme, but I also think just posting and spamming admin on Twitter is gonna accomplish the goal we wanted to accomplish. So really, what choice do we have? And I think the best way of going about this is to silently protest. Don't play this daily, just avoid it at all costs, because I think that's gonna be better, not only for your sanity, but also it will send the message. And you know, in this day and age, in the 21st century, that's really the most power we have. As consumers and as customers, we can choose to say no, and we should exercise that right and just show the developers that we will not stand by this. And of course, if you do get a little bit more serious for just a second here, you can see this daily is just absolutely crazy. There's nothing I can complain about. We have the Holy Mantle, we have Brimstone, we have Rubber Cement, we have Tammy's Head, and we have Homing Shot. So really, as soon as we enter a room, we press the spacebar and everything instantly dies. That includes bosses, that includes boss rush, and I don't imagine it will be difficult too much against the likes of Hush. Obviously, that's gonna be the biggest obstacle we have to overcome, but I'd say if you overcome that with maybe 1 or 2 hits, you're in a very good spot. So really, how can we look at this and say, is there a strategy to this one? And maybe it's not something like we would usually be used to. Obviously, in a general daily, what you would want to do is just get as much exploration. You're limited by damage and speed and things like that. But in this one, there's a lot of factors which just don't matter. Because you're going so fast and because you're so strong, you know that pretty much everyone will complete the daily very fast. And also, you know that pretty much everyone will visit every single room just because, you know, it's very strong, very powerful run. So both of those are kind of taken out of the equation. You really can get a lot more points by maybe being a little bit faster or by trying to explore more. Essentially, in this case, it's a necessity that you try to do everything you possibly can. So the only few avenues of ways to really get more points I see in this one is, first of all, try to find the secret rooms. At the start, the bombs were very scarce, so it's very important to use them in a very, I would say, safe and very reasonable manner to try to find those secret rooms, because those secret rooms are going to be maybe the difference between someone who gets a little bit more points and someone who doesn't get as many points. And because you would imagine a lot of people would actually get to the end and just overall the scores would be ridiculous, you can imagine that those little point differences can actually end up making a very big rank difference in the end. So definitely finding secret rooms and second secret room is something that I feel like will make the difference between someone having a high score and maybe someone being rated a bit lower than that. So what are some other things we can kind of watch out for? Obviously, we can go for secret rooms, and the second one is angel rooms. So we try to get as many angel rooms. Of course, we use our bombs on the angel statues, and if we kill the angel statues, they actually get quite a bit of points, like 300 or 400. So imagine if someone would indulge themselves and just pick up maybe some of the devil deal items. That's definitely a mistake in this one, because the run is strong enough, you basically don't need anything else than maybe those few 5 starting items that you start out with. And beyond that, you know, you're trying to go for those angel rooms, try to getting as many points as possible, and then I think that's going to be another avenue of success where you really can get a bit of points and maybe get a leg up on the competition. So also, maybe another thing is item penalty, and because this run is so strong, you might be inclined to just basically pick up every single item, make yourself even stronger, but I would advise against that, again, because you can expect so many people will actually have a very good score. Those little point differences will make a difference, so you really should just focus on the items that you know are either going to give you more points on average by maybe giving a swag or consumable, so something like Sack of Sex, or you would want something that would reduce your score in some other ways. For example, I picked up the Wooden Spoon because I think that's going to make me a little bit faster. I also picked up Boga Bomb because of course that gives you double the points every time I pick up a bomb, and also I picked up some damage upgrade items because I feel like that's gonna help me overall when I'm facing some of these more difficult enemies, like for example Hush, because obviously he does have a lot of health, and also Satan because he has a lot of more forms and I can only use Tammy's Head to kill 1, maybe 2 if I'm really lucky of his stages. So I feel like that you should kind of focus on that, not pick up too many items, but definitely the biggest difference I think in the end score is just gonna be swag and consumables. And of course one way of going about it is to try to break the game, maybe find the D1. I think there was one at some point, I think someone mentioned it. and then you can juggle the batteries to get more points that way. Of course, there's also a Jera rune at some point, so maybe you can force something like with a blank card, try to get the Forget Me Now. All of those things will increase your score, and of course will give you maybe the advantage over the people who maybe didn't go via that route. But I feel like even doing something very simple can pay off, like for example, like I said, picking up Bogo Bombs. And I think that the reason why I managed to rank so well, even though I thought I wouldn't, is because I held on to the 2 of spades, and it's a very, I would say, minute difference, but remember that having 99 keys, just getting 99 of every consumable, is something like 3,000 points, and that's a very major difference between someone who does pick up the 2 of spades and someone who doesn't, because of course, like I said before, every other point is already capped, like there's not much room for error there, and of course you really can get more points that way. Sticking to that 2 of spades that you're gonna find very early on, I think is crucial to just get a lot more points in general, because as soon as you find a Jera rune, you can duplicate it, then you can pick up the keys, and as soon as you're at 25 keys, which is very doable, you can use both the 2 of spades to essentially quadruple your keys, get to 99. Of course, that's just gonna give you a lot more points overall, and I feel like that was definitely the winning play. It might not seem like it's a very big deal, but it's definitely something that I feel like has given me just an edge, and for that reason I did manage to rank so well in the end, even though maybe it doesn't seem like I'm doing that well, considering I'm just going through the rooms, pressing the spacebar button. I did find quite a substantial amount of secret rooms and second rooms as well, but I think mostly this one was about playing smart. It wasn't so much about mechanical skill, it was maybe more of the general overall knowledge you have of the game, and just maybe how the shred mechanics work, and just maybe being aware of the fact that everyone else will have a strong daily, so you kinda need to play around that if you really want to be better than them. So in the end, we did finish the run. I did get hit 2 times on the Satan fight, which is something that always happens, I just don't know how to deal with it, and overall I was a bit slower than other players, but I feel like that time penalty that I lost, I definitely made up by getting maybe some other things, like going to secret rooms, or maybe by trying to keep up to the 2 of spades, just picking up keys and consumables in general, and we did end up ranking in the 13th place, which I think is something like top 10 on the Gridbat leaderboards, which is obviously very good for this run, because of how simple the idea is, right? Everyone can do it if just they knew that maybe keeping up to the 2 of spades is going to be so influential in the end, and can actually end up giving you the score to really get up there in the top of the leaderboards. And I feel like that's something that these videos strive to show, that sometimes it's just not about maybe how well you play, how good of a player you are, sometimes it's just being aware of the situation and maybe taking advantage of it in the best possible way you can. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed this one, guys, and I hope to see you next time.